Hello and good morning. This is Andy McCann, your host here on Fitness, Food, and Finance. One day I'll have Levi back. He is technically my co-host. And I am planning to bring Evan back on to talk about Crohn's. So we're going to do a reversing Crohn's podcast and tell you where he's at. Right now, everything is looking great. So using that Lion Diet and Josh Detch's group, everything is good. Today we're going to talk about finances because I said, hey, it's Fitness, Food, and Finances. I don't always talk about finances, but I'm going to try harder in 2025 to give you more finances stuff. So some of that is I don't like to give advice on things that I haven't actually done. I mean, I'll tell you what I hear is the best to do, and maybe I haven't done it, but we all know it's the best thing to do. So I like to talk about things that I've already done. So we talk rental property, we talk how to be a landlord, fixing things, all that sort of stuff. I've brought that up. I've brought other guys on to talk about their journey. And today I'm going to give you the 1031 exchange. So a lot of people use 1031 as like a noun or a verb. Hey, I'm going to 1031 that. I'd like to do a 1031. So the 1031 is actually code that was written into law, and it allows you to move basically money from a sale of one thing into this purchase of another thing. So if you go look at the Internal Revenue Code, and you can see ChatGPT throwing some answers in here for me. I'm asking it things that I already know just to make sure, because I hate saying things that are wrong, and usually Chat gets it right. But 1031 is the code or section that it's in the Internal Revenue Code. So you could go there and actually look at it, and it's quite wordy. I've actually got it pulled up on another sheet, but if you're not a lawyer or maybe a real estate mogul, then you probably don't care about the exact words of it. And anyway, so what it allows you to do is they will let you take your property and then you have to buy something that is kind and similar. So it's got to be like, for example, for me, we had a house that we've had for a long time. It was going to be our forever home until we decided to move. So that's how those things go. On our rental journey, we would buy a home, move out, and then rent that home. And we never sold anything. So this is the first house we sold. We sold this property because Evan needs a much more controllable environment for what he's dealing with, his Crohn's, which is almost licked. So if you change your food, your environment, and you kill off the parasites and things like that, following Josh Detch's group, then it looks like you can reverse this, but you have to be willing to really edit your diet. Anyway, we want to change his environment. So we had rented a place that was very moldy, and he's like, yeah, you can't live here. And so we got him a second place. So yes, I am paying for two rents, but you know, your children's life, you can't put a price on that. I can put some sort of price on it because this is the stuff I'm paying, and I'm happy to pay it. I want him to be successful. Anyway, so we have the opportunity to sell this house and then take that money and put it up into a house in UGA. So we went around Athens and we looked for a piece of property. Basically, if you just go to Zillow, you can pop around. Actually, I'll show you some of the things we did. Okay, so I'm looking at Athens. I know some of you guys are listening to this. Listening and watching is totally fine. Zillow is awesome. It has made the job of a landlord so much easier. Same with YouTube and electronic payments. So this job or this biz, whatever it is, was a pain in the butt before 2008 and started getting a whole lot easier once YouTube and other things came online. So, okay, I mean, when PayPal came out, no one wanted to use it. Well, not everybody, many people didn't, but now it's like, yeah, whatever, PayPal, Venmo, just send me some cash. So we went to Zillow. Okay, let me back up first, actually. So we sold this house. It's a large house. We redid the basement. It's in the Woodlands. It sold for about $700,000. We had all of our other rental property going on, and it being one of the earliest houses we bought back in 2000. Let's see, Evan wasn't alive yet, so 2004. So we bought this in 2004, so it was 20 years ago. And as I said, I run everything I do on very low debt. So we had paid that off a long time ago. Yes, we had a house paid off. It was only $250,000 when we bought it. We didn't pay it off when we bought it, but we used both of our incomes, sales from my job to pay that sucker down. We play a game, get out of debt. We always drive down debt. I know many people say you should leverage everything. I just don't believe in that. I believe in getting out of debt and running super secure. My biggest fear in the real estate world or any investment is the risk you're taking. So a very smart play is go to college for a hard degree like electrical engineering and then go get a job that does that because they're going to pay you well. And if you're willing to travel, they'll pay you even more. And if you're willing to sell stuff, they'll pay you more. So I did all that stuff, and that's where we kind of got our start back in the 90s, whatever that was. Anyway, So we already had one rental property and we had this house and we were using all the money and the rental property's money to pay down that mortgage. Okay, so we did that, $250,000 into that house. We did some repairs and stuff, so let's call it, I don't know, $300,000 that we had in on the house. We sold the house for $700,000 thanks to Shahla MacDonald. So she actually lived in the same neighborhood and she is a really good real estate agent. So Shahla sold this for us and it didn't go so quick that I was like, dang, we should have rose the price, but it didn't take very long, which is what I needed because I have to do this 1031 exchange and there's a process to it, right? I'm gonna get into that. Anyway, she sells it for us. If you need Shahla's information, just let me know. She's a fantastic real estate agent. I love the fact that the house was gonna sell for $700,000 and she was arguing with the other realtor over $150. I'm like, I don't care, but she did, and that's what I'm paying for. So I'm like, yeah, you're worth every dime I had to pay to do whatever it is, you know, the seller, the buyer, whoever pays for the stuff. I guess it was me because I was the seller. Anyway, at the end of it, we basically got a check for $645,000. Okay, so I could take that money and say, all right, I would like to just live on that, but I can't. So I have said before, I'm independently wealthy. What does that actually mean? It means nobody pays me to live. I'm using things that we've already done to live. Does it mean I'm like Bill Gates? No. Does it mean I'm like Joe Rogan? No. It just means that we're able to live the life we want to live and nobody's putting money in. No company is putting money in. So I'm independent of the systems that are out there. I don't have a W-2 wage. I'm not employed by anybody. Now, I may go back to that for funsies because I want to give back and all the kids are growing up, but that's what I mean by independent. I actually probably looked that up because I'm probably using it wrong. Wealth is such a hard thing. If you ask like someone who's making under 50,000, they're like, I just need to make 60,000. If you ask someone who's making 60,000, they're like, I just need to make 70,000. And it keeps going up until the answer gets more sophisticated. Like, hey, I would consider myself wealthy if I had enough things in investment that generated $200,000 a year for me to live on or something like that, right? So people get very sophisticated in their answers once it gets to a point, but it's never enough. I think somebody said either Bill Gates or Elon Musk could give away like $1 billion to everybody on the planet and they would still have $1 billion or more or whatever. So, or maybe it was $1 million. I don't know what it was, but it was a lot of money. And, so the idea, and are they done? Are they stopping? No, both of those guys are still trying to do stuff. Some for good, some for bad, I don't know. Okay, so what do you do with that money? If I had, actually let me look this up because I want to see exactly what they would have charged me. Okay, that answer is too complicated. Let's just go with, it's usually like your capital gains or something like, I know real estate actually has a discounted tax bracket from your normal tax bracket. But anyway, it's something like 20%. So of the profit. So if we spent, I'm gonna make the numbers easy here. I mean, if we spent $300,000 on the home with upgrades and whatever, and then we sold it for $700,000, that would be $400,000 in profit, and 20% of that, well, $400,000, so 10% is $40,000, so we owed $80,000 in taxes. And I'm like, I don't really want to pay $80,000 in taxes. So how do I avoid paying $80,000 in taxes? Hello? Enter the 1031 exchange. So this is why I don't know why they made it up. Probably why they made it up is some politicians were like, hey, how do we save us some money legally? And so they wrote this thing because it is a weird thing. So you take a property like that house, $650,000 is the check they were going to write for us. You go to a company. I got the one I used pulled up right here. There we go. So I used Stephanie Bolton from Atlanta Deferred Exchange, and she was fantastic. I filled out a few forms, did a thing. So all the money when the house was closed, the realtor has to know and the lawyer has to know, and they set all this junk up with your 1031 exchange broker. So basically the money is going to go in trust or escrow to this other company. So technically I don't have the money. So we sold the house and the money went bye-bye. Super scary because it can get messed up. There is a big thing in the world of those mortgage payments and stuff, like earnest money and things, where people will fake send or real send a fake, like this is the instructions. And they end up wiring money to the wrong place. So don't let that happen. There's nothing you can do if you wire money incorrectly. So make sure all the lawyers speak for real and not just go off of fax and like they still use fax, I know, and emails. They want to make sure they actually communicate and refer to the numbers because it's a lot of money. You don't want to lose that. All right, let me drink here and tell you more. So Shahla, her sister used this company and she gave them to me. I called them up or emailed them and then we got on the phone. Actually, Most of it was email. It was pretty fast. But anyway, I like to talk to people in real life, so I called her. And we chatted, and everything was set up. They have an assistant that walked me through a few things. There was nothing complicated except for, how do you want to title this? I'm like, well, I don't know. What should I title it? Basically, you just title it yourself or whatever it was before, okay? Super easy. I just made it complicated. Anyway, so what we had done is we met up with my sister-in-law's friend, Lauren Duncan, who is a real estate agent up in Athens. Man, she was phenomenal. I love her. If you guys need a reference up there, let me know. And we started with, well, Evan and I started with Zillow. And we said, okay, so we got to change this up. We want a for sale. And the price has to be, this is a weird one, you can't buy something less than, actually you can, I'll tell you how. So it had to be $650,000, right? And of course, I'm not going to pay, I don't want to pay into the millions, but this place is expensive. So I just put $650,000 to $1 million. Let's see what they come up with. I said it's got to have at least 2 bedrooms and 2 baths because I don't want a tiny little place. I want something that you could have 3 people living in. Evan's up there, Levi is in Athens, and Evie is probably going to UGA. That's where she would like to go. We don't really know, but that's what we're looking at. So we changed it to 2 bedroom, 2 bath, and then I said, hey, I'm okay with a house, a townhome, multifamily, condo, sure. A lot? No, we got to be fast. An apartment, could I do that? Yeah, I'd be okay if we could buy an apartment, which is kind of where we ended up, and then manufactured. So I hit apply, and it just is going to show you, like, hey, these are your options. You can see some of these I've actually starred or looked at. They're kind of read, well, some of you can see it. It's read out, but it doesn't, Zillow does a great job. It takes all of that MLS and puts it right in here so that you can see what's going on and you can look at the prices, and I could send stuff to Lauren and say, how about this? The advantage of using a real estate agent, though, is she's like, okay, I know stuff that's happening that you don't know. Would you like me to clue you in? I'm like, yes, I do. So she ended up saying, hey, there are some units, and actually it might be over here. Is this where we were? No. But I'm going to click on it because I'd like to see what the 4 units are. Oh, look at that. So this is a very fascinating little apartment complex. It looks like an apartment. Okay, wow. Yeah. So you can buy yes, this is expensive. You can buy a 2 bedroom, 2 bath for $950,000 in this place. That's a little more than I want to spend, right? So my goal was to exchange this for Evan so that he could have health. How much would you spend for your son's life? Everything, right? I want him to be healthy. One thing that I have found, man, I hate to say this out loud, but one thing that I have found anecdotally in my own life, don't follow me, but this is what I do. We don't go to the doctor, and nobody is really sick. Nobody's on medicines. Not a single person in our family, the parents or the children, are on meds of any type. The other day, I was talking to a friend. We were moving some ice hockey tables, and she said something about pain, and then he said something about pain. I was like, oh, that's weird. I don't have any pain. They're like, wait, you're 51 and you don't have any aches and pains? I'm like, nope. They're like, really? I'm like, no, I don't have any aches or pains. What are you talking about? I didn't know that that's as normal as it is. I mean, I started asking around. Everyone's like, yeah, my shoulder, my foot, my toe, my knee always gives me pain. I'm like, weird. Well, what are you doing about it? They're like, I don't know. So I guess the difference in us is when I have a pain, like I tore the meniscus in my knee, I got out of a foot clip in a bike, and I was like, I think I just ripped my knee apart. So 1, it's kind of cool to be fit enough to rip your own knee, but 2, it sucks to rip your own meniscus. Anyway, it's been probably 10 years, and it took a while, but my knee feels great. I do weirdly have a residual problem on my other side foot, so my left foot, the plantar fascia tendon or whatever ripped one time. And it's together now, but I can feel it every once in a while, so I'm very careful. I don't do double unders or springing box jumps or rebounding box jumps because I know it can hurt. But anyway, all right, so we're in Zillow. I did not go to those apartments. We did go to some apartments or some condos. I want to say it's like over in this area right here. And anyway, so she said, I got this thing. It's not on your list, but do you want to go take a peek at it? And we're like, heck yeah, we want to go take a peek at it. So what we found was anything built before 1960 had a very awkward design on the house because that's just how the 60s, pre-60s or whatever, houses were made. The newer ones were, they look like you would expect. But I was like, Evan, I don't know if we want to buy a brand new home, which we did find some that were pretty cool. And I was like, I like these. But he doesn't need a house. He needs a place to live. We don't need a rental property that I have to get up there and manage. We need something that, if we wanted to, we could have other college kids move in. So this is the beauty of the 1031 exchange. I had this house in the Woodlands, The rent was not, it was too low because I only move it up a little bit at a time to cover taxes and HOA and all that. So Shahla had said you should probably be charging like $3,300 a month, and I think we were charging $2,600 a month. Let's just say we were charging, to make the numbers easy, $3,000 a month. Actually, no, that's gonna be okay. We'll just go with what it was, $2,600 a month. Okay. Then we ended up. Let me pull up a calculator so I can do this math on the air. So we ended up with 3 units that are going to run about. Oops, that was too much. So going to be about $1,500 per unit. So we went from $2,600 a month to $4,500 a month in rental revenue. So we downsized. So the house is, man, it was big. It was probably 5,000 plus. Actually, I could probably go look it up. It was 5,000 plus because we finished out the basement, and it was already one of the larger styles of homes in the Woodlands. And so we weren't doing a great job there. And the other problem, it was so big that the people, when they rented it, would then sublet the basement to somebody else, which I didn't care about, except it's not that type of neighborhood, and it was too many cars, and so it got kind of weird. So I didn't like that, and I know the neighbors really, really, really well, and I didn't like that sometimes it went jiggy with them, so I wanted to fix that. Anyway, we took that 5,000 square feet and we ended up investing into 3 things that were 6,000 square feet. So the square footage is probably about the same, but they're smaller. It did cost me a little extra money. So here's the deal on the 1031 exchange. Once you take that $650,000, or $645,000 or something like that, and you put it into the 1031 exchange, they hold it. This is the weird part now. It starts a counter. You have got, 45 days from the day you close to go under contract onto some properties, which is fine, except we closed on like December 20th. And so then there was the December break, and then there was a January kind of no one went back to work. So I already blew like 2.5 weeks where we didn't really look. So I have another 2.5 weeks or something like that to get the process rolling. So Laura was awesome. She got us moving. The day we went out and looked at everything, we made offers, so it was totally fine. And we're closing on those in under, I think it's been less than 2 weeks. So we made the first cutoff, which is you have to have identified and gone under contract in 45 days. The next one is you have 180 days to close on the new property. So if you miss a deadline, there is nothing you can do. They're like, well, you done screwed up. Elroy, you're out. Or Ron. So you've got to be able to move relatively quick. Now, because this is the place that I'm not living in, it's a rental, I could tell the real estate agent, I don't care. I just need it to be good for college students, so near UGA, and it has to be, so the words that they use are, it has to be like and kind, right? So like, it has to be units, like residential, and kind, it has to be rental. So the weird part on all this is then I do have to charge rent to my kids, which is fine. We'll get that figured out. I'd rather do that than pay $80,000 in taxes. So whatever, I'll pay them rent. I'll get my own money as a income and then pay taxes on that. So yeah, it's stupid. But the tax on his portion of whatever, $1,200 is probably like $600. So the tax on $600 is way easier than a tax on $650,000. Okay, so here's a problem. I know you guys are thinking, damn, Andy, you're throwing around $650,000? You the money man. No, I'm not. That's money that's trapped in a house. This is the hard part about being in the rental business. We are not very liquid. We just can't go do a thing. If somebody said, hey, you need to pay for a thing, I'm like, yeah, I kind of can't do that. If it's probably under like $10,000, yeah, maybe I can figure out a way to do that, but we don't have like cash. Just, it's not like, what was that show, DuckTales, where Scrooge McDuck would go swimming in the gold? That's not what independently wealthy, at least to me, means. What that means is I'm independent of the systems. I don't take anything from the government, and I don't have a company that gives me stuff. But I do take money from individuals, so all the renters that pay me pay us our lifestyle. Without them, this isn't possible. So I suppose you could say I'm dependent on my renters. But I'll tell you guys, this lifestyle is pretty good, and I would go slow for it. I know other people go fast, I would go slow. Go get a very hard degree. Kids, if you're listening, your parents tell you get a hard degree, do it. Spend the 4 or 5 years to get a hard degree. Go and co-op. You should co-op or intern so that you have some experience so you can hit the ground running when you come out. If you have the hard degree, you've got a little bit of experience, you're going to go into a job that's going to pay you quite well. I'm looking at some of the internships with Evan. They're paying $20 an hour for an intern that's in computer science because it's hard to do. Then you look at the money for starting salary. It's like between $70,000 and $100,000 depending on where you went, what your grades were, and what you did, right? That ain't bad. For a starting salary, that's really dang good. So you could do that, live beneath your means, and then start investing into real estate. Go find a house. Pay it off with your own money. Move out, rent it. It's not hard. It's not complicated. It's not complex. It's just not really easy, right? It's simple to do. You just do this thing, but it's just not easy to always get done. Anyway, that would be the method that I would use. So back to the 1031 exchange. So Atlanta Deferred Exchange has the money. Laura Duncan has identified 3 condo units. So basically, I don't have a picture of it, and I actually don't remember what the neighborhood is called. I feel like it's called the Woodlands, which is weird because that's where my other house was. Let's see, maps. Whoa. Let's go to Athens. Oh, it's Winder. There we go. Athens. Let me go Woodlands. Woodlands subdivision? Woodlands, in Athens. We'll just do that. Woodlands in Athens. Yeah, that looks like it. No, that's exactly it. This is where it was. So, let's see if I can drive it in. Can I see? I wonder why I can't get street view. Terrain, traffic, transit. I got satellite view, but it's not letting me zoom in. Why is that? Is it because, let's see, share, missing, report. I don't know. It's not letting me zoom in. Okay. If you're looking at these things, they're townhomes. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right here in this row that I randomly picked, there are 10 houses. What they do is the first floor is as wide as the entire townhome. And it's, a first floor. Then you can go up the steps to the second floor that then splits. The second floor is half the townhome, but has 2 floors, okay? So you get the idea. Everything's about 2,000 square feet. Pretty nice setup. There is a company up front that you can pay to, where's their townhome? It's like, or not their townhome, their club home. It's like one of these 2 houses up there. You can actually pay them to take care of everything. And I'm like, all right, that's not normally what I do, but it's in Athens and I can't be up there. One of the worst things you can do in the real estate market, in my opinion, is buy property that you really can't maintain. Then you're trusting other people to maintain it. And I hear stories all the time. They're like, they keep buying stuff to fix. So I put a camera up and they're not really doing anything. I can see them. They don't do anything. They're just taking my money. So you do have to watch out for that. The way I solve it is if I can't drive there in about 30 minutes, I'm not interested in owning real estate in that area because I just won't be around. I want to do it, which makes us more money than if I paid somebody else. We don't have thousands of units like some people do. I know if you have thousands of units, you probably want a company to manage that. That would be difficult. There is the whole idea of I get a lot of doors, a lot of units, a lot of places for people to live, and I have a 30-year mortgage on everything or whatever it is, and then you wait for those 30 years to pop. Yes, you would do much better than what I'm doing right here. I didn't want to have 30 years of insecurity. I wanted to be secure, so I went very slow. I am here to tell you, it does work. It does not make you a gazillionaire, and it does not make you... I drive a truck. I bought a used truck from the Ford dealer, and that's what I drive. Every one of my kids is driving used cars. We don't buy new stuff. 1, because I think it's dumb to buy a new car, but 2, we're not like rolling in that kind of dough. Now, on the other side, I do have the gym, CrossFit Garage, and for a very long time, especially since COVID, I have not personally taken any money out for myself. So that's, 5 years into that, that I don't take money out for me. And that's okay. I like being healthy and fit. I'm 51, and I don't have aches and pains. I don't have a doctor. Well, I kind of have a doctor. Skardassis, you're my doctor. I just don't go to him very regularly, if at all. And I don't take any medicines, and I attribute much of that to constantly moving. So thank you, CrossFit. I'm happy to have the gym. It keeps me healthy and fit. It is my donation to the world and to myself. My selfish donation. Anyway, back to the 1031 exchange. So we took this, we turned it into 3 units. One of them I'm going to give to Evan and Levi so they can live there. Yeah, they still have to pay rent. And the other 2 we're going to rent out. One of them has boys already in there. They're going to stay. And the other one, the daughter's father owned it, and they're selling because she's graduating. So we'll put some renters in there. But the front exchange office or the front office will take care of all that for me. And that's beautiful. So the thing I want you to know is this. 1031 exchange is possible. Do you need to use it? No, but I mistakenly, naively thought, well, I'll just take this house and keep it. So we kept a very big house, 6,000 square feet or something like that. We were undercharging in the rent, and that wasn't good. Had I broken that house up into smaller units, I would be making more money. So, man, let me show you this. Zillow is insane. All right, I paused you and I zoomed into 30188, which is Woodstock. And I'm looking at the rental properties. I just said basically anything for rent at any price, but I want a 3+ bedroom and a 2+ bathroom. The reason is I know what those numbers are and I can compare and contrast, right? I find this to be utterly insane, the rates that people are charging. So let's go with the neighborhood I was in, the Woodlands. There are some houses here on the park side in the Woodlands. So they've got a house for $2,300, another house for $2,700, another $2,700, and a $2,900. What is that? Is it made out of gold? I don't know. This one is 2,000 square feet. The other one that was 2,300 is 1,700 square feet. Okay, they do have a couple models, so that's going to be the bigger model. I think this is the one where they built a extra room in it, maybe. Well, it says 3 baths, so maybe they changed the half bath into a full bath. Anyway, that's a lot right there. So I've got houses that I rent in Woodstock, and based on that, I am way behind the gun on rentals, like what it would charge. Now, there's one over here. Wow, for $4,700. What is that? It's near downtown Woodstock. It's a 3-bedroom, 3.5 bath. It's only 1,600 square feet. So this is the weird part. The rents keep going up. Same with the price of homes. They should, I don't know. I feel like if BlackRock is buying all these homes and turning them into rentals, then the rents should be going down or stabilizing. But they keep going up, and they're going up really fast, in my opinion, which is great. Except, I don't know. I usually only really adjust the rate correctly when people move out. Of course, I don't usually move out because I keep it a little bit lower. I would rather have the same tenant in there than up it all the time and be on par, because when they move out, it's going to cost me money to make it look good. I am the type of landlord that'll like change out all the flooring, repaint. I'll do everything. I want it to be a house that people want to be in, and I want it to attract those type of people. So yes, the rent is higher when it comes back online, but everything is made nice and beautiful. So I use Tim Reister, a local teacher and contractor, to get everything done. Tim is awesome. He is the type of contractor that will tell you exactly what the price is going to be, and then he says, I will get it done and I will do it. And he does, and that is awesome. So there's no surprises, there's no time gaps, he just gets it done. It is usually a little bit more expensive than the other guy's quote, but it's usually the same price at the end. So the other guys usually underquote and then upcharge you in the middle. He doesn't do that. The guy is awesome. Tim Reister. If you need him, let me know. He's also a member at our gym. You can find him there. So Tim, thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so housing prices or rental prices are just kind of weird. They're all over the map here. I guess I should have said only 3-bedroom because I could be looking at houses that are not. So if we go down Trickham Road, let's see, this is Kingsgate. Yeah, this is, I feel like, a little bit more in line. There's a house here. So I don't know why the Woodlands rents so much higher than Kingsgate, which is right next to it, but it does. So it's about a couple $100 more than a similar house. So they're both Pulte-built homes. Anyway. Okay, so if you are like me and you're trying to either invest in the Woodstock area, Shahla. If you are over in the Cumming, Alpharetta area, I got another guy, Glen Goodrich. He is awesome. Also, if you're trying to downsize, so I'm going to get out of the perimeter and I'm going to downsize my property to somewhere up north in North Georgia. Glen Gruschow. I said Glen Goodrich. That's my another old fraternity brother. Glen Gruschow is who I meant to tell you. So I'll put all of their links in the doodly doos so you can find them. But yeah, so this is what we're doing. So smaller units are better. Yes, you got to take care of more stuff, but you can charge a higher premium for what most people want. Most people do not want a 6,000 square foot home. Now, you could charge a higher bit if you could get into like the executive arena, but that's not something that I'm into. Okay, what else I want to tell you about this? Oh yeah, so you don't actually have to use the full money. So let's call it $650,000. If we only wanted to buy 2 properties, we would have money left over, and then we would get that and pay taxes on it, which I'd be okay with. But the other way we could do it is we could then either add money in, so take a mortgage, or do something else to get that money, right? So instead of ending up with like 2.5 properties, which a 0.5 property doesn't exist. So instead of 2 properties with extra money to pay taxes on, we decided to put a little bit more money into it. Yes, that does put a little burden on me, but we can do that because it's already rented, and we'll have 3 of them being rented. We'll put all the money back into that bit, and we'll pay them off. So we've done this time after time, and it's an easy process once you get used to it, and it's not nearly as scary as when you have like, I don't know, I had a buddy that I worked with, my very first real estate buyer, my real estate agent. He was a rental property guy as well. I think he had like 300 homes, and he's like, some of the homes I only make $1 on. And I'm like, dang. He's like, yeah, I hope the economy doesn't go weird. And then it did. He sold everything and moved to Florida. Now, I don't know exactly what went down with it, but I hope he got out okay. I don't really know. Anyway, if you're out there and you're interested in real estate and you'd like to get into the gig, I am happy to sit down and talk to you. I have talked to several people, and they're like, hey, should I buy this house? I can't answer that. I can just tell you a process that I used, and I could try to answer other questions besides like, should I purchase this? You would have to open up and tell me exactly your finances, and most people don't want to go all into that detail. If you do, great, I can give you more answers. I would say here's the strategy at first. Go to Dave Ramsey and pay off all your debts, right? So pay your debts off first. That's me. That's how I would do it. Get out of all your debts. You don't need to be investing if you're paying interest on somebody else's, the debts out there. So get out of debt. Next is pay your own thing off. If you don't have a thing, buy a thing and then pay your own thing off. I would then move, leaving that one there, and have people help you pay the next one off. Yes, that does mean you're going to have to move. And that's okay. It could just be down the street. It could be next door. It could be in the neighborhood over. But that is usually the easiest way to get this done. You don't have to do that all the time. I didn't do it for every one of them. What I would say is start building up some capital, and then when the economy does slump a bit, buy in, and then go from there. So if anybody says, man, I got a deal for you, run. Don't go on the deal because something's wrong, and it doesn't have to be that way. The internet doesn't care. It is going to show you all the deals out there, and you can compare and contrast. Easy one is to get on Zillow and just start looking at houses for sale near you and just see, what's going on. So, oh my gosh, house prices have gone up so much. So in that same Woodlands neighborhood, where are we? Woodlands is this one. Yeah, so there's 700,000, 520,000, 500,000. So what makes a house worth what it's worth? I don't know. I don't think this guy's going to get 700,000. It's 5 bedroom, 4 bath, 300 square feet. I don't think he's going to get that. But what do I know, right? 500,000 sounds more reasonable. Anyway, do some research. If you want help, Andy at CrossFitGarage.com. I'm happy to help you. If you're a member, I'm totally going to help you. We're going to meet in person. If you're on GarageFitness.online, yeah, I'll help you too. If you're just out there in the world, it's a little bit harder because I don't know you, don't have any context, but I love helping and I'm happy to do that. So guys, this is a 1031 exchange. It's not for everybody, but it could be. And it's a pretty useful tool. It saves you tax. Like I said, it saved me about $80,000, which was about what we had to put in just to keep the money going or to get the 3 units. So basically, the tax that I didn't have to pay went back into it. Yeah, so I paid a little bit more, but I would have lost that money anyway, right? So this way I didn't lose any money. Guys, this is Andy McCann. I'm here to help you. The podcast is Fitness, Food, and Finance. I'm on YouTube at Andy McCann42. You can find us on all the socials. We have a gym, CrossFit Garage, here in Woodstock, Georgia. We have GarageFitness.online, which is basically the same thing for you that have home gyms. Everything's done online with Brandon Phillips and a couple other guys that are working that program. There are other items and options we have for you. I'm happy to help. You guys just let me know. Take care.